taught this class like as a community, not obviously this one, but like as a little community class, and I actually have them practice heckling, so they can learn to deal with hecklers. Yeah. So I just returned back from Thanksgiving with my father, and every year we go through the same scenario, which is basically 3 days of war movies. And they haven't made that many war movies over the last 80 years. So if you're watching them every single holiday for the last 37 years of your life, you're watching a lot of the same war movies. And I used to get into this. I try to be a good sport. I'd look at my dad and I'd go, did this person live? Is this based on true events? Like, which war is this? But I gave up because he would just look at me disgusted. Your generation. You have no appreciation for the great sacrifice that these men went through. You know all about the latest smartphone apps, but you don't have a shred of understanding of the greatest battle in military history. And I've seen all of these movies, and every one of them is the greatest battle in military history. And that would be a fair criticism, right? Totally fair if my father had served 1 day of active military service in his entire life. But no, while my father's brethren were off getting their body parts mailed home in bags to loved ones, he was animal housing it up in cutoff shorts at a yacht at some Ivy League somewhere, managing to graduate just in time not to be drafted. And I spent like a lot of time in front of the TV with him, just seething with resentment, trying to come up with in what possible scenario I could express that level of self-righteous hypocrisy. And this is what I've come up with. So tomorrow we all wake up. You know, TVs are on, national emergency. Every TV in Geneseo is just covered with the same image. It's Trump. He's out there. He's like, America, we're in a tremendous emergency. It's the worst disaster the world's ever seen. Nobody's getting pregnant. Nobody's getting babies. Everywhere the sperm is so bad, except my sperm, I have the best sperm. So if you're a woman out there of childbearing age, just like 17, I think, we need you to get pregnant, start pushing out those babies, do your duty, do for your country, get going. And he's obviously talking to me, right? Because, you know, I got like hips wider than the chassis on the new Chevy Corvette. And I was obviously meant to just be like popping out offspring in a Midwestern cornfield somewhere before I like wipe up at the afterbirth on the hem of my dress and then go on milking Bessie for the rest of the afternoon. And I could sign up. I could serve. But what if I just stay here and teach classes on how to have kids and how to make babies and what baby making looks like and baby making strategy and how we got into the baby making mess and what caused the baby making mess and the global implications of the baby making mess? I don't know who I teach it to because all the people who could use the knowledge are, you know, having the babies. But maybe there's some male nurses that want to stick around, you know, and get educated. So I do that for a couple years, and then eventually everything gets back to normal. We're over the crisis. People start procreating as normal. And then the movies start coming out. Movies hailing the greatest germination. Tales of women who gave up a skyrocketing career and a tight badge for God and country. Scene after scene of like directors Emmy-winning cut footage of just these hospitals where malnourished women are just popping out twins and triplets with nary an epidural or aspirin in sight. And there's no doctors or nurses anywhere because they're all off having babies. And so everything is filthy and it's unsanitary conditions. And I'm just lapping these DVDs up one after another. I have one of those stacks in my living room just covered in DVDs because apparently they still sell those. I got footage of Emma Roberts and Watson Smith just talking about how it was the greatest battle in childbearing history. And of course, 10% of every $14.99 sale goes to fight the now rampant epidemic of postpartum depression that's come across the United States after a whole decade of everyone having kids. And then one day I dragged some kid to the movie theater, not my kid, obviously, and Angelina Jolie is playing like her latest directorial saga debut, Womb Warrior, telling the story of these women, you know, hidden behind the front lines of their homes. Trendy, renovated 900 square foot lofts that were perfect when they were fresh out of college, just about to launch their career, are now these fetid cesspools swarming with children they can't take care of. Half-dressed infants and filthy toddlers are just wading around in their own shit, in need of a breastfeeding that will not come from this dehydrated, saggy-titted shell of a woman sitting in the middle of it, glass-eyed and slack-jawed, immune to the screams of the horrors of the children. And I sit there, humbled by the valor of these women. wearing my commemorative POW MIA t-shirt signed by 47th President Cardi B, which of course stands for Prisoners, Pussies of War, Motherhood in Action. Fuck, I knew I was gonna fuck with that line. Which of course stands for Pussies of War, Motherhood in Action. And then this kid has the nerve to look at me and go, "Oh, did this really happen? Is this based on a true story?" And yeah, in that moment, instead of just admitting that I am the world's biggest pussy, I would look at this kid and just shame him for being a total moron. And of course, this analogy is ridiculous because America will never elect a woman president. Thank you.